Welcome to the Basic Bee podcast, a show for the wannabe SEO savvy service providers among us, for the coaches and consultants who dream of becoming known for their storytelling skills, not to mention the solopreneurs who straight up need to master all things social proof to increase sales. After a little reluctantly fully committing to this online world of business, I quickly realized I needed to get people to come to me. I needed to tell them I was here and how I could support them. I dove headfirst into social proof, which led me to SEO, which led me to storytelling. And now it gives me great joy to share what I've learned with other business owners so they skip the hard stuff and ease straight into sales. This podcast gives you expert insights, actionable takeaways, and casual convos with some of the online world's best and brightest experts and strategists. I think that's enough of an intro, so here we go. We have my friend TaVona here. Do you go by TaVona or TaVona Denise? I always just call you TaVona.
Well, on the internet streets, I'm TaVona Denise. And it's only because way back in the day, like in 2008, somebody already had my domain name. I'm supposed to be like Oprah, Beyonce, TaVona. That's what it's supposed to be like. But here we are, TaVona Denise. So there we go.
I did not know that. I know. And I've recently discovered that there are multiple Brittany Herzbergs spelled the same way. Two of them had curly hair. One of them ordered like some underwear or something, and she typed in her email address wrong and it came to my email. And normally I don't click on stuff like that, but I clicked on it and I was like, wait, this is a legit order for an actual human. So here's how SEO works, right? We're just going to dive into this thing. I went to LinkedIn and I typed in Brittany Herzberg, ended up finding the person, and I wrote the message and I was like, excuse me, this is going to sound very out of left field, but did you purchase from this company recently? And she's like, I did. I was like, okay, the message ended up in my inbox. Could I get that to you? And she was so grateful, but I was like, this is so weird.
Until recently, I have never met another TaVona. And even then, it's not spelled the same, but close enough.
We recently discovered that we both say the same phrase, which is that we are the Kevin Bacon of the online world. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about relationship marketing and what that looks like working with TaVona and what that looks like working with me. Shall we share a little bit? I guess we should set up our story about how we met.
How you stalked me? No, just kidding.
I did. I heard you. I mean, look, when you
it.
say some magical stuff on a podcast, I'm finding you and I'm saying hello when I'm 10 minutes into the podcast. It's just going to happen.
You're not the first friend, like legit friend that I've met that just like slid into my DMs on Instagram. Like, hello, we're going to be friends. And I'm like, okay, but I'm open to it. And I think that's part of the process, because some people, when somebody slides into their DMs like that, they're like, ugh, who is this? What do they want from me? And that's depending on how you slide into my DMs, right? I might have that same thought, but most of the time I'm very curious about the person who's on the other end. And so it's really led to some beautiful things over the years. And I think I want to do a little sales job today during this on the importance of just being open to meeting new people.
Do you want to take it away with that? Do we have a soapbox moment?
Really a soapbox moment, but I just think like with you and here we are now, one of my best friends in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which is where I live. She slid into the inbox and was like, I'm going to be moving there. And I was like, okay, weird lady, let me know if you actually do it, because people say that all the time. Mm-hmm. And then she came down and it was amazing, like one of my besties now. Mm-hmm. And so we've cried together, we've traveled together, we've made money together. It's an amazing thing. But I think a lot of times when people think about networking, it becomes this awkward, salesy judo match for who's going to sell who first. Yeah. And I think the problem with that approach is short-sighted. People are not playing the long game. And I like to approach those situations of like, who's the person in front of me? And I think about any kind of situation, but especially an official networking situation. When we walk into the room, in the way I categorize them in my mind, there are 4 types of people. Everybody thinks about the client. So we got that one, move that other side. But then there are cheerleaders. Yeah, you just go to the side. We know you're there, right? But then there's cheerleaders. And those are people who will maybe never purchase from you, but they love you and they support you. They want to support you. They know about your work and they're going to tell everybody about you. And then there's yes, that is definitely you. I appreciate it. And then there's the collaborators where people do something that's complementary to your work. Say, for example, web designer and a copywriter, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. One gets a client and that person, they can make the introduction because that person would need their services and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And then I put this in air quotes all the time, and I forgot this is on video, so I can actually do the air quotes. You got
Yay.
the competitors, right? And
Yeah.
then some people think about competition, don't have them in your world, don't let them know what you're doing, don't be around them. And I'm like, why? There's more than enough for everybody to
Hmm.
eat up. But I also think about like referrals. I come from a physical therapy background, healthcare, we're
Yeah.
always referring. So either somebody's not the right vibe, somebody's not the right price point, somebody's not the right stage of business or something like that. So you still want to know who those people are. And I think when you think about all of the four types of people, I just want to be curious about who it is in front of me so then I can not be creepy when I'm
Yeah.
in networking situations and people are more open to want to continue the conversation and actually build a relationship.
I love that you put competitors in air quotes because I do the same thing. Like even just yesterday, I discovered Threads is still a thing. It seems like it's having a little bit of a revival moment, which I'm here for because I liked Threads. I met some really cool people, connected somebody else to another course creator. I'm like, what? This is amazing. And it still has that wild, wild west. Like people are just here to be friendly and, cheer each other on and hype each other up. It's great. So just yesterday, I was included in a thread where someone was asking for SEO service providers and then some other things. I can't remember what they are. But this one comment had me and another woman in it, and I don't know her. So I clicked over and of course I friended her. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard about you. She's got like 20 plus thousand people on Instagram and I just hadn't heard of her. And I reached out and said hi. And then immediately she was like, well, not immediately, but pretty soon on in the conversation, she was like, oh my gosh, don't judge my content too harshly. I took a break from posting about SEO. I was like, don't worry, I've been focusing on blog stuff. I haven't been posting either. I love how you said that because I can't help everyone with SEO. I don't want to. There is stuff that I am not the expert at and I don't care to be. I would love to instead send people to so and so. Like I really thrive on that. And like the cheerleader in me, the collaborator in me, I live for that stuff. Like I live to be able to cheer someone on and send people their way. And that's a huge part of why I'm even doing this kind of a series. I don't ever want to lose the part of me that's excited to shine a light on somebody else. And sure, I do that with my work with case studies, but like I have all these amazing friends and genuinely everyone that's going to be on here is a friend. And I'm like, check this person out, check this other person out. Like,
Yeah, and I think we get to do that in our own way. And I think that's part of the reason why I started the Coaches Collective, because I know so many incredible people, and it's a shame that y'all don't know each other. Like,
yeah.
I can't be the only one being tapped into this brilliance. And so, like, that's the spirit that I created it in. And I don't know about you, Brittany, but I'm stepping into my season of ease.
Mm-hmm.
And what is easy for me is to talk to people and to make friends with people and to cheer other people on and connect other people. And let's just grow the thing together, like a collaboration. It doesn't I don't think business has to be as complicated or hard and burdensome as people make it out to be. It really doesn't. And I think if we worked together more often and in a more intentional way, business would feel less lonely and less difficult. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's what you're trying to do too with the new service that you're about to release.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. And there's like my brain just pinged on so many things too. One is that, going back to I have the massage therapy background, you have the PT background. It's almost like thinking of that client and I can serve the client in one way and then the client could go to you and you can serve them in another way. And they're benefiting the whole way through because it is easeful because what I do is very much working with what you're doing and vice versa. And then there's going to be like an acupuncturist in there and who knows who else in there too. So we could even think of your business as that client almost. If you're working with all these other different people, it's only going to benefit your business. It's only going to benefit just everyone, your clients, the other people. Like it's just magical. But the other thing I wanted to touch on too is you said that you're moving into your season of ease. The thing that came to mind for me is that I really had to tone it down on networking events this year because I realized that I wasn't nurturing the relationships I already had. And that made me really sad. So I was like, all right, we're just going to pull back from that. We're going to nurture the relationships. I can always step into this stuff, but I've still been meeting new people along the way. And I think it's because I'm open to it and not necessarily looking for it, but just open to it and aware of it and very much here for it.
It's interesting. One of my business coaches is really into networking. And I think sometimes you got to find the balance between the new people and the nurturing of the people that you already know. And I was like, well, wait a minute, sir. I have been networking for a very long time. And I know a lot of people in my cell phone. And I think if I really just think about it, if social media went down tomorrow, I could rebuild my business from the contacts that I have in my
Yeah.
cell phone alone. And so, how do you come up with a way to stay in contact and nurture and build and continue to build the relationships that you have? And I think that's one of the reasons also why I created the collective is it's like, let's be honest, networking requires time.
Mhm.
And so, how do you be the most efficient and effective with your use of the time when you're a solopreneur and you're wearing all of the hats in your business? And it's important to build the relationships. I love leverage, and you got to figure out how to do it in your business and how to be efficient and effective in what you do. So, there's effective networking, but you can be going out and meeting a bunch of people and not deepening relationships. And
Mhm.
then there's efficient networking. And so, like, if anybody's watching this and they're like, yeah, I do networking, but I'm falling down on the follow up, my favorite little hack for this
Yeah.
is if you're going to networking meetings, whether online or offline, and it's a recurring meeting, if you can't connect with everybody all the time, just send them a quick note to ask them, will they be at the next meet? And
Mm.
make it a point to, because one, that's you back in your inbox for a good reason. And then two, you can say, hey, well, let's meet up 5-10 minutes before, or let's hang out 5-10 minutes afterwards, because you're already going to be there. So that's my little hack for keeping in touch with people when you're used to doing a lot of offline networking in particular.
I want to hear about the collective. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the collective, and then I'll share about my matchmaking thing.
Yeah, well, essentially, the collective is for coaches, experts, consultants that have a heart to serve and they want to collaborate with other people. They may be people who are done with the social media trap. I call it being stuck on the content treadmill because you got to feed the beast. And we don't know if the algorithm is going to serve up your content to whoever. And so, really, when you come into the collective, we do two things. We have a collaboration session where it's networking that's not awkward and gross. It's really about how can we help. And I think that's one of the best ways to get to know somebody is to actually help them with their business. And it's also better than an elevator pitch to be able to explain what you're doing in your business.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we do is boardroom sessions, of which you're going to come in and do one, I'm sure,
Oh yeah.
where we bring in a subject matter expert around business and they come and share their brilliance with us on their area of expertise. Because I think there's a both and. I think we need to help each other, but then there are experts. You're into SEO, like really help a person figure that out for their business. And there are so many things that we need to learn in business. And I'm really good at connecting people and resources. So I'm like, here's somebody that you can learn from that I know knows their stuff, is good at what they do, that cares about people. Like, go learn about SEO from Brittany.
I love it. I can't wait to come in there and talk about SEO and all the things. I live for those guest teaching moments because you get the best questions and you really get to be seen as the person who's doing the talking and the sharing. And every time I do a talk, like I just did one last night, so it's very top of mind for me, it reminds me what matters and it reminds me the questions that people are asking and how I can really make an impact and how I can really help people. So what I'm doing over here with my little like spidey hands is that this idea it's been percolating for a very long time. And I have these skills, just like what you're talking about with like the natural connector and wanting to help people. Even if I can't help them, I want to connect them with the people that I know and the programs and the resources. So for the longest time, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to be open. Whenever you're ready to hit me up, universe, just like let me know what it's going to be, because I wanted to be able to monetize this skill, but in a way that didn't feel icky, in a way that still really felt aligned and allowed me to not lose the essence of what I'm doing and how I want to help people. So I was talking with my business coach and she was like, I told her the whole thing, just everything I just shared. And she was like, well, what about like online business matchmaking? She's like, I mean, she knows the Kevin Bacon line. So she was like, what does Kevin Bacon do? Like when he already knows everybody, he connects people, he recommends things. So like, why don't you go ahead and do that? And I was like, oh yeah. So yours is more of a group setting. Mine is much more of a one-to-one setting where someone comes in, they know they have a need or they know they have a desire. They might be interested in a program or a person or a coach or what have you. So I really help them to suss out like, what do you really want? What do you need? What does it look like? Because you were even talking about the stuff earlier, the price point, the vibe of the person, the structure of the program. Like, what is it that you're actually looking for? And like, I've got my own knowledge and expertise. I have like a plethora of friends like you who have been in all the other programs. It's just like, I'm so excited because I'm going to hop on a call with these people, talk with them about these things, create a report around what they've shared with me with suggestions. Like, you were considering, Exhibit A, but you might want to consider Exhibit B. This wouldn't be a bad thing, but like, you're going to get more of the structure that you're wanting or the vibe that you're wanting from this other thing. And it's what I do naturally anyway. I have DMs and emails all day long out the wazoo because people know that I know things and they want that support. They want that backup. They want that extra set of eyes, that vetting process when they're considering something. So I'm really stoked, and I'll make sure to have links to all of our stuff, all of TaVona's stuff. I'm really excited that we were finally able to have this conversation.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think it's well placed. I think going into the next year, people are more discerning in who they do business with and what programs they take. And I think it's helpful to know people like you and I that know a lot of people and who have been around for a while and participated and made the investments to be able to say like, okay, well, this is the vibe over here, but if this is what you're looking for, you might want to consider XYZ over here.
That's the thing that really has been on my heart for a while, to just like protect people from that, because I'm so tired. I'm so tired of people saying, oh, I signed up for this and I was hoping to get this and none of it happened. And I'm so disappointed and I'm out X amount of money. And it's not little bits amount of money. Like, it's like, $10,000, it's $3,000, it's $1,000. Like, and, to each their own, the perspective shifts with the amount of money, but that's a lot of money. And on top of that, it's time investment and it's an energy investment. So when you want to make sure that you're going into something that you're pretty confident is going to get you what you want. And the other thing that came to mind too is like, Google can recommend things to a degree, but it's really nice because what do we look for? We look for the testimonials, we look for the case studies, we look for the social proof. So if you've got someone who can say, I went through this or I know several people who went through this, and like we were talking before we started recording, but like people constantly come to us and spill the tea, and it's just helpful because like, while it's, sure, fun, it's interesting to hear the drama, I'm taking that information and I'm using that for myself to vet something in the future or to help someone else. Google doesn't always have the tea. Just saying.
Just saying.
All right. Is there any final word that you want to leave anyone with?
Business doesn't have to be that complicated. Just get back and talking to humans and watch your business take off.
I will make sure that we have all the things linked below. Where do you mostly hang out?
They can slide into the DMs on Instagram. They can follow Brittany. You can follow Brittany.
Oh, God,
no, I really do enjoy talking to people. So
the only ones that I haven't been responding to are the ones where it's like, are you interested in getting 10 to 20 clients a day? Excuse me. I know I'm being sold to and I really don't like this. So no, I actually told someone nope today. I was a little sassy. I haven't checked to see the response, but that was a little spicy. We will catch you next time. That was really something, wasn't it? Let that really sink in and guide you toward being the answer to even more Googled questions. Thanks so much for joining me this episode. You are the reason this show exists and that it keeps growing. Thanks to all those follows and reviews. If you know someone who could benefit from what was shared, send it to them. We don't do shy around here. If you thought of clarifying or follow-up questions while listening, you know what to do. Say hi on Instagram. Check the show notes for all the things that were mentioned, and I'll talk to you soon, friend. Okay, you get it. You know SEO is important, but no, you're not interested in learning another skill. Who has the time? But who are you supposed to trust with the task of getting SEO to work for you? Someone who won't ghost you mid-project or treat you like a dum-dum lollipop. Someone who actually wants to empower you and your team with all things SEO. Hi, yes, it's me, Brittany, and you are the person I created the SEO packet for. You're curious, you want to understand this thing better, but like only a little bit. You don't actually want to do the doing. This way, you get the key SEO stuff super fast, and you get support throughout and beyond the project. No more letting Google gift you the wrong SEO strategy. Time to put the right words in the right places and get found online by the right people. Find all the info you need below.